What a great joy to have Sadiq Khan join us, even if remotely. But now we have someone joining us live, and this is an extraordinary pleasure and honor for me, because for any of us who came of age in the 1970s and 1980s, there were many voices out there, many artists out there, many musicians out there, but there was only one Patti Smith. And I don't mean that as like a easy truism. I mean that as something deeper. To me, Patti Smith had an authenticity and has an authenticity that you just didn't find, in my view, that many other places. An ability to cut through all the swirl around us and speak some more profound truths. The punk movement in general, to me, was a bastion of truth-telling and something that helped address the hypocrisy in our society, and therefore, by calling out that hypocrisy, gave us hope. Some have called Patti Smith the godmother of punk. I think it's a fair phrase because she inspired so many people, helped shape a whole movement, a whole artistic movement, and in many ways, a political movement as well. Her work as a musician, as a singer, as a lyricist, as an activist, so many elements influenced so many people and showed people a way. And I think this is, when we honor people, I particularly think about the pathfinders, the people who showed the way to so many others. There's a lot of artists out there who realized what they could do and what they could say because they heard the works of Patti Smith. She got together with Lenny Kaye almost 50 years ago, and they created something amazing. And the Horses album in particular, 1975, considered one of the great, most important rock albums of the entire history of rock and roll. Many wonderful songs, and I love many of them, but Ghost Dance is one that I am to this hour moved by. The first time I heard it gripped me, and every time I hear it again, grips me. That was from her album in 1978. Unbelievably powerful to me and among so many others. So she has done so much to light the way, and she has done it here in New York City and was a quintessential member of that musical blossoming that happened in the 70s in this city and beyond. So talk about someone who has enriched us and given us hope and brought along a whole generation of incredible and talented people. When we give the key to New York City, I always like to think of the people who just their impact just keeps growing and growing and growing. And that is the truth about Patti Smith. So it is my pleasure to present to you the key to New York City.
Thank you.
Feel free, sit down and talk to the people.
Thank you so much. It's awesome. Wow. I was thinking this morning when I learned of this honor, what have I done in New York City? What have I given New York City to earn this? But the most of all, I kept thinking of what New York City has given to me. I came here in 1967 from a rural area of South Jersey. I had just a few dollars in my pocket, nowhere to stay, no real prospects, but I came here to get a job and to see what I was made of. And I found that the city, with all of its diversities and possibilities, if you're willing to work, if you maintain your enthusiasm, you'll make it. And I got a job in a bookstore. I met so many wonderful friends. I evolved as an artist. I met Robert Mapplethorpe and Lenny, and Sam Shepard, and so many people who I evolved with. And I left New York City in 1979. I went to Detroit, married my husband, Fred Sonic Smith. I had 2 children. When he sadly passed away in 1994, I returned again to New York City with my children. Again, it was hard times. It was very hard times, probably the hardest time in my life. Again, with hard work and enthusiasm, the city embraced me again, gave me another chance to rebuild my life and continue to evolve as an artist. So I wish I could give New York City the key to me, because that's how I feel about our city. With all its challenges and difficulties, it remains, and I'm quite a traveler, the most diverse city to me in the world. The city that has so many possibilities, so much possibilities for growth, but also as we grow and again evolve as a city, I pray that we will also protect our city, its history, its historic streets and architecture, its community gardens, its trees. All of these things we need because they are part of our identity as New Yorkers. Also, the Empire State Building, new skyscrapers, progress, but also the small things. That is part of our great city, the small things. So let's all do our best to protect those small things. And this is so encouraging, because it's been a difficult year for all of us, a difficult 2 years. But I always think of my parents and my grandparents. Our ancestors have gone through world wars, their own pandemic, the Great Depression, and they always forged through. They came out of it. They came out of it with hope. They brought us into the world, and we can do it too. We are navigating heavy seas, but we are all small or large captains, but we can do it. We can navigate our part of our little sea, our little area of difficulties. We can do it if we stay strong and grateful and remember our mothers and fathers and grandparents and what they had to do in order to bring us into the world, and all of the strife that they had to surmount. We can do it too, because that's who we are. We're resilient people, and who's more resilient than a good old-fashioned New Yorker? So,
Beautiful.
thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful. Patty, I gotta ask you one thing. It was absolutely beautiful what you said. And I think there is, because it's been so hard and a shock to everyone these last years, I sometimes confront people who don't remember what you just said, sort of lose a little bit of that perspective and feel a little too hopeless. And I understand it's hard. So I always, if someone's feeling hopeless, I feel empathy. But I want to remind them that, whatever our challenge, there's something we can do. And of course, the message, people have the power. What do you say if someone's saying to you, just things are so bad, there's so much division, we can't do anything about it? What's your way of encouraging people? What's your message to people who are feeling hopeless?
I always start with the small things. Just as I was speaking of, some people tend to our community gardens. Some people, they have a neighbor who is sick, will make soup, leave it outside on their stoop. I have seen all these little small gestures. There's litter on the streets, they pick it up. Just doing what one can to reduce their own waste, to reduce their use of fossil fuel. Any small gesture and feel good about your small gestures, because we are who we are through our accomplishments, but all of our accomplishments. And I think it is a good thing to embrace our small accomplishments. If it's just, helping someone who's having a difficult, it's the old story of helping the person cross the street. But these are wonderful things. And each good turn, each good deed that we do magnifies. And I think that's, if we don't have the capable of making big change ourselves, we can join others and be helpful. That's what People of the Power is about. It's about the power of the individual, but then the greater family, the greater power, which is all of us unifying and making change. Because only the people, artists, politicians, all of scientists, we can all inspire people, but it's the people who make change. And they make change by voting, by helping one another, by fighting for the things they believe in. So I would say, start with the small things. And, and there's nothing more healing than a smile.
Amen.
And just find something every day to be enthusiastic about, to feel encouraged about, because that's part of physical and emotional mental healing, is allowing joy to eclipse fear and doubt. So I know it's what my father always said. If you ask my father, and my father read the Bible, Socrates, all kinds of Jung, but when you would ask him, what's the most important thing in life? And he would always say the same thing: be happy. Because if you feel happy, it will spread like your blood in your veins. It will magnify your spirit.
I love it. And you have lived that. You have lived that. You have lived it for all, and we've all felt it. And in addition to Key of the City, we have a special salute because on Thursday, it's your 75th birthday.
Yes.
And today, Lenny?
Yep.
Today is Lenny's 75th birthday. So we have the incredibly elaborate presentation here. Come on, bring it on up. Bring it on up. There you go.
Oh, thank you. That's awesome.
Okay, now you each get a wish. We'll let you think about it for a second. Beautifully done. Look at that precision. Excellent. Happy birthday.
Thank you.